Welcome back to another jam-packed, fun-filled episode of Lit Loot Content Camp. We have a lot to discuss. Firstly, 2 contestants have earned bonus points for being good contestants. First up is Glazed. I made an offer in which players could receive 15 bonus points if they submitted within a certain 3-hour time frame. Nobody ended up taking this offer, however Glazed submitted just 2 hours after, and he was the only person to submit that day, so I still want to give him some bonus points. For this reason, Glaze will receive 10 bonus points. The second contestant earning bonus points is Mr. E, who made the thumbnail for this video. He'll receive 15 bonus points. The bonus points will be applied after the challenge. Now let's get on to the challenge. 9 out of 12 contestants responded. KTGE Official, Soup, and Pangu DNP'd and will unfortunately receive 0 points. If any of you 3 DNP'd next challenge, you will be disqualified from LCC if you don't let me know that you can't participate in the challenge. Contestants who DNP'd will count towards team averages, so get your teammates to submit, please. Challenge 2 was to create a team name and logo for your team. As a reminder, the team name is scored out of 100 points and the logo out of 200. The highest scorer on their team will have their team name and logo be the official team name and logo for their team. The team with the lowest average scores this challenge will have their lowest player in the total standings be eliminated. As a reminder, these are the teams. Team 1, Ace5, Fire, Mutant, and Silent Space. Team 2, Glazed, Emmett, Soup, and KTGE Official. Team 3, Mr. E, Pedrin, Pangu, and Q-Toad. Up first is Silent Space, with the team name Atmospherical Allies. I like the creativity of this name, as all 4 players on Team 1 are named after things you find in the sky or in space, though technically space isn't part of our atmosphere. I'm gonna give this team name 71 out of 100. Here's the logo for the Atmospherical Allies. And it does have the representation of all 4 team members, with Mutant as the mutant, Fire as the sun, Ace as an ace in the skies, and Silent Space as the space background. I will give this logo a 138 out of 200. This brings your total score to 209 out of 300. Up next is Mr. Mystery with the team name We Bring the Yay. While I do think it's funny, and I love a good BFDI reference, and Yellowface is one of my favorite characters in BFDI, I think the team name lacks creativity that other team names have, so I'm going to give it 67 out of 100. Now on the other hand, I love this logo. This is hilarious. It has all 4 team members represented by their PFPs from Discord, and I love that Yellowface is firing Pangu out of a cannon. My only knock on this logo is that a lot of it is made from online pictures. But even then, I still love this logo. It's really funny. 184 out of 200. This brings your total to 251 out of 300. Next up is Mutant Sabretooth, naming his team Very Cool Team. Unfortunately, while you might be on a very cool team, this is not a very cool team name. So anyone could come up with this in like 3 seconds. So this gets in my eyes, this is still generous, 24 out of 100. And here's the logo. The logo does not make up for the lackluster team name. It's bland, it has everyone's names randomly placed on the screen. There's a random black square in the background that does not need to be there. And instead of using the team name you created, you use the placeholder name of Team 1. I almost like the inclusion of my camp in the corner, but it doesn't even use the camp's full name, as it doesn't even have the word content in it. That's like the main thing. 26 out of 200. Total score, 50 out of 200. Up next is Glazed, calling his team the Squishy Cherries. I did mention before, I love a good BFDI reference, but this is a direct copy from BFDI, so it's slightly less cool. I'll give it a 44 out of 100, because gotta have some originality in my opinion. The logo on the other hand is phenomenal. It's simple, which is like a logo should be. The star in the corner is cool. It just sums up what a logo is supposed to be. It's simple, it's colorful, it shows that this team believes they are cooler than the rest, And I think this is a perfect logo. I'm giving it 200 out of 200. This means your total score is 244 out of 300. On now is Q-Toad with the team name Fat and Funny. Fat is represented by Mr. Mystery, who leads the league in weight and burgers consumed all time. Funny comes from the Minecraft event Funny Wars. I think the team name is solid, but it's not the best we've seen so far. In my eyes, this team name is the bar. Anything better than this, I would consider good. Anything below it, I would consider not so good. And so for that reason, I'm going to give it an even 50 out of 100. Here's the logo. I think it's decent and kind of funny, which I guess it should be funny if the team name is Fat and Funny. I like the inclusion of 2-scale replica of Mr. Mystery's head, and I also like how Pangu is a bum in this logo because he didn't even submit a response for this challenge. But I'm not really sure what that thing is on the top above the Funny Wars logo. I think it's a burger. It might be a hot dog. It kind of looks like a oversimplified version of the Survivor logo. I'll give it 120 out of 200. This brings your total score to 170 out of 300. Up next is Fire, calling his team 4 Amazing Muscular Sigmas, or FAMs for short. This team name might sound silly, but there is some creativity behind it because FAMs also could stand for Fire, Ace5, Mutant, and Silent Space, who are the members of the team. I think that's pretty cool. I'll give it 83 out of 100 for creativity, and this makes it the highest scoring team name thus far. Here's the logo. I don't know what it is. I don't like this logo. Maybe it's like the circle that doesn't really need to be there. Maybe it's that Giga Chad is covering up the big star. I don't know. I can't get behind this logo. Except I do like the shiny sparkles. Reminds me of the shiny sparkles from Pokemon. So that's a little bit of bonus points for you. I'm gonna give it 101 out of 200. And this means your total score is 184 out of 300. But wait, because Pedrin has activated the Thief token. And if you don't remember, Thief tokens steal 25% of earned points from a player of the user's choosing. Pedrin is going to steal 46 points from Fire, meaning Fire's total score is now 138 out of 300. Moving on, we have Emmett with the team name the Lit Luke Lovers. But how can we be so sure that your team is the Lit Luke Lovers if half your team didn't even respond to this challenge? So because half your team might not be a Lit Luke Lover, you're going to get around half points at 48 out of 100. Here's the logo. It's not necessarily bad, but there's like a few details that you messed up. Firstly, you spelled my name with 2 capital L's, when there's clearly only 1 capital L. What is this, wall or something? Secondly, you tried to make my Minecraft skin, but you got my mouth messed up. My mouth is a lot bigger than that. Anyone who's seen it knows. And also, there's like random red circles in the background, it looks like. Not sure why they're there. 117 out of 200. This makes your total score to 165 out of 300. Next up is Ace5. And I have the logo there immediately because it needs to like be explained, because Ace5 had his logo on a USB flash drive and he left it at his grandfather's house. So he kind of had to make a logo real fast, and this isn't really a logo. So yeah, his team name is the Crimson Combustors, but I'm not sure what this team has to do with Crimson or combusting. 56 out of 100. It sounds cool, I guess. But the logo, I like the story that the logo tells, but it's not really a logo. It is kind of funny how you have Mr. Mystery's sandwich just exploding, and you're like sad and begging for points. Not sure why this takes place in 5 AD though. 72 out of 200. I think that's generous. That means your total score is 128 out of 300. Up next is the thief of this challenge, Pedrin, with the team name Empty Characters. And this team name is very creative. It has like 3 different meanings within it. Firstly, MPT is the first capital letter of everyone's names. M for Mr., P for Pedrin and Pangu, and T for Toad. All 4 of the team members are also technically from video games. That's the second meaning. Pangu from League of Legends, Toad from Mario, the Rin part of Pedrin from Rin the Last Child, Mr. is from Mr. Games, the gaming store, but I think the Mr. Mystery connection and the Rin connection are kind of a stretch. And the third meaning is that empty characters refers to letters that are said very fast in the alphabet, almost being empty. Those letters are LMNOP, and M is there for Mr., P for Pedrin and Pangu. Q is the next letter that follows that, so Pedrin says it still counts. And this team name is creative. It's almost too creative though. I think that's what brings it down, because it takes a lot of explaining. And even then, some of these reasons are kind of a stretch, but I'm still going to give it an 88 out of 100. Now the logo, on the other hand, this is a phenomenal logo. The drawings are good and are very detailed. The only problem I have is that it kind of looks like you tried to make everyone's video game character, but the drawing of Toad is technically a mushroom and not a toad, and Mr. Mystery is just a controller, when there are definitely characters out there that represent Mr. For example, Mr. Game & Watch. Actually, another problem with this is that there's no background. I think that would have helped in this case because there's just random floating objects. But this logo still gets a very high 180 out of 200. And including your thief token, your total score is 314 out of 300. And that concludes the second challenge. So now let's look at the results. Now let's see the new team names. Team 1 are now the Atmospherical Allies. Team 2 are the Squishy Cherries. And Team 3 are the Empty Characters. Now that we've seen the new team names and logos, it's time to see which team has the lowest average score in this challenge and is up for elimination. The Squishy Cherries have the lowest team average this challenge, meaning their lowest ranking player on the overall standings will be eliminated. Remember, players who DNP'd counted as a 0 in the average, so get your teammates to participate. Let's look at our overall standings now. Twelfth place is Soup. Soup, you started off strong with a very outgoing introduction to this camp, but you went on to not participate in this challenge, causing your elimination. I'm glad you were able to participate in this camp at least a little bit, and I really think you could have went far in this camp. Let this be a lesson to your fellow contestants that completing the challenges each and every time is very important. Time for some awards and stats. The average response gained 185.4 points. Pedrin rose a whopping 10 places on the leaderboard from 12th to 2nd, and he would be first if not for glazed bonus points. Ace 5 fell the most, falling 7 spots on the leaderboard from 1st to 8th. Mutant got last place this challenge and will receive a token. There's a 137 point gap between Ace 5 and KTGE official, showing that responding to the challenges is very important. Empty characters have 3 players in the top 5. That's pretty cool. I will get into average placements and deeper stats like that in episode 3. As a reminder, here's the tokens you can earn. Contestants and viewers, if you have any ideas for a new type of token, let me know in the comments. Viewers will get a highly coveted Lit Luke shoutout, and contestants will get bonus points at the start of next episode. The token Mutant Sabretooth will receive is a poison token. On to challenge 3. The next challenge is quite simple. Make a tier list or top 10 list. Your tier or top 10 list can be of literally anything. You don't necessarily need to have exactly 10 items, but don't do too few items, and don't go over the top with your items. I will try to not grade completely based on my opinion, unless my opinion is objectively correct. I'll score based on whether it looks nice, and if it's like a good tier list that makes sense and is valid, I guess. I didn't really want to do another opinion-based one that's just based on my opinion. This will probably be the last one for a bit. For some final information, the deadline for this challenge is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024 at 4 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to like, subscribe, give me your token and challenge ideas, and I'll catch you in the next one. Litlu content.